you're going to want to go to takeout.google.com. So this is the website that Google provides so that you can export your data. Now, you can export a ton of data from Google, which I actually didn't really know. But the only ones we're going to need for the email agent is, you guessed it, our email data. So you can go to takeout.google.com. You're going to want to click deselect all right here. Scroll down, click mail. And now you're going to want to go to all mail data included. Click on it. Deselect include all messages in mail because we only need our sent inbox. Deselect everything. That's all we need is our sent emails. Deselect archived, hit OK. Go down here, click next step, and it'll, you get to pick if it sent download link via email, add to Drive, Dropbox, whatever works for you. Just export it once and then create export, and you'll get an email with a notification letting you know when your data is ready. Now this process will take varying lengths of time depending on how many emails you have in your inbox, but should be done 5 minutes to half an hour. All right, now when you click the download link in Gmail, you're gonna get this mail folder right here. Now I've already downloaded it, it's in my downloads. So this is it. Now, I accidentally exported my inbox and my sent. So don't do that. Just export your sent. That's all we're going to need. Now, this can go. Pretend that's not in here. So you have your sent.mbox. Now, mbox is the file format that Gmail has for your emails. So an mbox is something that we have to convert to a CSV for us to properly work with it in the Relevance AI portion of the video. So next steps, we're going to want to take this mbox file and we're going to add the mbox file to this Python script. Now, I got this Python script from AI Jason on YouTube. You go in here, we have our email, we have our mbox to CSV file. It does exactly what it says. Turns mboxes to CSVs so that we can easily manipulate the data later down the road. Now, for the mbox file path, you're going to want to change it to the name of your mbox. It can be anything, but for me, it's sent.mbox. And then the CSV file path is just whatever you want your brand new CSV file to be called. So you can modify that however you like, change that up, chop it up, and then all we do is we're going to run Python. I'm using Python 3, mbox 2, boom. Now if we run that, you can see that we just got a brand new CSV file right here. Now that cleaned it up, it turned it all into a CSV. Beautiful, there we go. So now let's move on to the next step. Okay, next steps. From here, we're going to want to take that file that we've just turned into a CSV, all of our emails, and we're going to want to now move on from the mbox to CSV Python script to the email cleaning Python script. So if we go into here, we can see it's a similar system. All we have to do is change our input and our output paths. I changed mine to email pairs.csv, and you're going to want to change your input to whatever the file path is that you have. So for me, cleaned emails v3.csv. So I've already changed it all. So now we go into here and we run Python 3 or just Python, depending on what version you're running, email cleaning.py. So now if we run this, you'll see that it's going to take a little bit of time. Now this one, you can see it running in the terminal down there. Now this one is going to take probably the longest out of anything in this tutorial because it has to manually go through and actually clean the emails and match them up with the match their sent email to the received email that you got. You know, where we left off. And yes, it's a new day. This is the next day from the last part of the tutorial. That's why I'm wearing a hoodie now. But hey, we move. Stuff happens. Let's get back into it. So where do we finish off? We finished off cleaning our CSV and making our reply, our original message, and then response pairs. So once you run that the email cleaning Python script and we get that CSV file, you're obviously going to want to download it, save it to wherever you want on your computer. And then we're going to want to go into the playground where where the magic happens. And we're going to want to make a new assistant. So I call this the email assistant. Now I gave it just like a very basic prompt. You're going to want to obviously spend quite a bit of time on your prompts and make them really robust and good. However, I just did it quick. Like, it's good enough, right? So obviously GPT-4 is the model we want to use. Now, the big part is that we're going to want to obviously enable retrieval for this, because we're going to be pulling from the CSV file that we just cleaned in the last step. So you want to upload the file in here. So now our agent has context. First of all, it knows what it's doing. It's an email assistant at Proxy AI, has to respond to emails. So it knows that part. And the part that really matters is the actual data that we provided from all of our past emails. So it knows our tone of voice. It knows the relevant links that we would want to send to a potential prospect if they inquire about it through email. And it has the capacity to actually perform in a meaningful way, like one that will actually want to use. Like, if it's trash, no one wants to use it, obviously. Especially if you're building this for a company, you need really robust data and you want to clean it really well. Obviously, for sensitive information, you want to be really diligent about that, because a lot of companies have fairly sensitive data, either if that can be either about like the internal processes, the business itself, or the employees. So that's just something to be aware of. But for us, that doesn't matter. But yeah, so now the bot has two contexts that it needs: the data and its purpose. So from here, I've been testing it a little bit in the playground, as you can see. So like, I asked it, I was wondering how to get in touch with Eli. To get in touch with Eli, you can send an email to Eli Calusi. Even though this bot is supposed to be me. So like, that's not a very good test. Like, we're still tweaking it, obviously. This is maybe a better example. Can I book a calendar appointment to get a quote for a job? Absolutely. You can book a calendar appointment for a discovery call to get a quote for a job. Here's the booking link. And this is my discovery call booking link. And it's correct and it works. Cheers, Eli Calusi. I tweaked the prompt a little bit. So it's like, finish your emails with cheers, new line, Eli Calusi. So it's just iterating, testing, figuring it out. Now, the more complex way to do this outside of playgrounds, first of all, I always like to start in the most user-friendly way, right in OpenAI. It's kind of where a lot of new people coming into the space are going to go for the first time. So it makes the most sense to start in Playground and try to build something that's very accessible for everyone. However, the slightly less accessible and more technical approach to this would be to connect this database to like a Relevance AI database, which is obviously, upload the email pair to like a vector database like Relevance AI or Pinecone. Here, let's hop into make.com and check out how we can integrate this into our automation. Okay, now we're in Make. So let's have a look at how we can break our assistant out of the OpenAI ecosystem and actually put it into an automation so that it's super useful and that it actually benefits our business. So super simple automation, but that's how they should be. There's probably 500 ways you can make this way more complex. However, it's always just about building an MVP first. Again, there's so many people getting into this space that I think it's just so beneficial to keep them really simple and teach people like how to build them themselves, and just show them that it's like not rocket science. You don't have to be a programmer to do any of this. So we have a trigger here. That's always our first module, is going to be our trigger. So in this case, we're just going to watch our emails in Gmail. Now, the folder I want it to watch, for my use case at least, is my inbox. I don't want it to watch my spam folder or my sent folder, anything like that, just my inbox. Now, the simple filter here is just going to look at our unread emails. if I've read the email, there's a good chance that I've responded to it accordingly. So this doesn't have to worry about those. And then it'll mark the emails as read. And we're only going to work with 3 results at a time. Then moving on to the next step, we are going to check for company or spam emails. Now, if you go back into Gmail here, there's a Gmail filter where you can actually use like Gmail's query language which is essentially SQL, to set up a filter to tell it what to search for. I didn't do that. I figure since we have the OpenAI modules, why not just use them and ask it to look for it? Look for company emails, that is, or like spammy emails, because obviously we don't want to respond to those. So in my prompt, all I said was analyze this email with the following parameters. I gave it the parameters from Gmail to give it context. Then goal is to determine whether or not this email is promotional, spammy, or from a brand. We obviously don't want to respond to those. If it's about somebody inquiring about the work we do, then that passes the test and we want to respond. Now, I've asked it very specifically, that's very important, to just output the body of the email, nothing else, because the body of the email is what we need to respond to. So that's what is going to be sent from our checker module right in the middle to our assistant. So they recently, like right when they added assistants, a few months back, they added a module in Make to actually message an assistant. Super useful. So that's all this is. We're going to message an assistant. Then we are going to give it the message, aka the body of the email from our checker. So that's going to be the prompt. And then we obviously picked our email assistant from this drop down of assistants we have here. And then I copy and pasted the thread ID, which you can find right here at the top of your conversation. Now, if this isn't popping up for you, you haven't messaged it yet. So you have to send a message to it, and then it will cache a thread ID for you. So essentially, the thread ID gives the assistant memory and context of your conversation, so it kind of knows where to start from and knows where it's at. Now, if we go back to Make, so just copy and paste your thread ID in there. And that is the entire automation. That's it. And it writes great emails. And I put maybe 2 hours of work into this, not even really, to kind of get everything going. An hour, hour and a half. So it just shows that there really isn't a lot of downside to doing this. It's not a massive time dump up front. And once you start, it's really easy to keep going and just kind of fine tune things and tweak them as you go. So I'm going to send a message to my email, and then let's have a look at what kind of quality we're getting from this automation. Oh, you can tell it's been a long day. I forgot to put the send an email module at the very end. So you're probably watching that like, what is this guy doing? But obviously, after the assistant writes the email, you got to add a send an email module after that. So the email actually gets sent. Now, you can alternatively save this as a draft, like create a draft if you want to double check it. Like, and maybe initially that's probably a safe thing to do. However, I'm just going for it. Like, let's just send the email. So boom, get that in. Now let's run it. So I'll run it in real time. You want to choose where to start. I've sent an email to my email. Nice, checking in for our call. There we go. Run once. We'll see it cycle through in real time. And let's see what kind of quality this brings. A look at the actual quality this is producing. It is definitely a little wordier than I would write emails personally, but still works. Still good. Like, you know, gets the job done. It has the context of my Calendly link, which is awesome. It even has a Loom video down here that I recorded. That's just kind of like an intro to what we do. It's like 2 minutes, kind of gives people a sense of if it'll be a good fit for them or not before they hop on the call, just to save us both some time. So that's really awesome that it included that. Looking forward to connecting with you and exploring how Proxy can support your goals. Cheers, Eli Calusi. So yeah, I mean, it's great. And again, I know I'm a broken record, but like this just takes a little bit of time to refine and you're golden. Like you're off to the races. It's perfect. So that's going to be it for this video. Don't know when I'm going to make another one. Hopefully tomorrow. I'm kind of trying to do it every day, hop on this whole content creation thing. Trying to go crazy with the content, but it is hard. I mean, you do have to make time for it, obviously, but it's like anything, once you break the inertia and get into it, it's good fun, and it's easy to do. It's easy to make content. It's fun to talk about what you love, right? So that's going to be it. And we'll see you in the next one.